Hi guys, and welcome back to the Nail on Sunday podcast with me, Chris, and I was going to say smoking hot wife, but I say that every single week. How about my beautiful little flower petal of a wife, Rebecca, and my co-host? Yay!
You sounded like Alan Partridge when you introduced that.
I can't even think who that is, honey. Anyway.
Like a radio host. And
yes. Oh, it's because I was doing wine tasting posh Chris yesterday on my TikTok. That was very funny, wasn't it? That was a long time ago for anyone who's listening. Hi guys, welcome back to the show. This week we are going to be talking about if we could go back in time and tell our younger self things, what we would change. I'll probably think of a catchier title than that, and you'll probably know what that is by the thumbnail on the YouTube channel or the description in the podcast thing, wherever you get your podcast. Yeah. Okay. That's the intro.
Excellent.
Hi honey, we're just back from Niche.
What
have you been up to this week?
Nothing very productive, to be honest.
I feel like this week was like the first week when you come back from vacation. You know, when you can't really get into it, you're a little bit more tired because you've been doing extracurricular.
Tired.
Now, as much as we work every weekend, we only work until like say 3 p.m.
Yeah, and it's not that type of work is different.
We're recording podcasts at the weekend, stuff like that, editing the podcast. When you're doing Niche and you're setting up like a massive stand in like 4 hours,
Four and a half.
4.5.
That extra half makes all the difference.
Yeah, and then on the Sunday you're basically standing for 10 hours essentially. By the time you get started first thing in the morning to when you get packed down and everything else, it's hard. Like I don't care what anybody says, it is hard work.
Very hard. Yeah, no, I'm still really tired from that.
So that's what it kind of feels like this week in the warehouse. The problem is I feel like we've rubbed off on everybody else.
There's just so much going on. Like by the time this is out, our app will be out, pricing calculator, the birthday thing will be over, SRS will be, everything will have happened. And it's just like we've got all that to happen, but we're all a little bit paralysed.
Yes.
Because that's in a week's time.
And I wonder if you guys ever get this as well. When you know you have something really important coming up, you can't focus on that, but you also can't focus on nothing else.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you think to yourself, it would be better to go do something less productive, but at least you're doing something, you know? Yeah. But you can't.
You just can't. You can't.
It's like, you know, when you have like an early morning flight
you can't
and
sleep.
You go to bed early, but you can't get to sleep.
Yeah. And
then you keep waking up or you have this terrible sleep and you wake up like 2 hours before your alarm and everything else. And you know, you feel like awake and then all of a sudden you fall asleep. Your alarm goes off and you're like, you feel dead.
Yep.
That's kind of what this week feels like.
Yeah.
Like a hangover week.
Yeah. Gross.
Yeah. Also the weather is
look guys, it's turning July in 2 days and I'm wearing a hoodie.
Although it's currently 17 degrees, I'm actually feeling the heat in here. I can't take my shirt off, my jumper off, because I've got like an old shirt on because we're going to be painting the new office today. Yeah, the fun stuff that Chris and Rebecca do. You're painting their own office. Golly.
Because Chris won't pay someone else to do it. I really wish we had because it's taken like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yep, I'll take that L. That's me.
That was stupid. We should have just had them do it. It would have been more professional. It would have been done in 2 days. And I wouldn't have wasted staff time for 2 weeks.
Can we talk about the colour of magnolia that you bought?
It's not
really
bloody magnolia. It is the colour Cancun from B&Q. And if you know, you know. If you're on Paint Talk, is all I'm going to say, right?
If you're on Paint Talk and you think that magnolia is worth...
It didn't look... It doesn't... Usually, it's the light. I'm telling you, it's the light from the bulbs because there's no natural light coming in. But it looks magnolia. I will 100% agree with you on that.
How much was that for like a tin? Like 50 quid or something?
No, it's B&Q brand.
Okay.
Cheapest chips, mate. Cheapest chips. Like £24 for a tin.
Golly.
I know. Are we going to have to get a whole new one and just paint someone to do the whole place again? No.
So yeah, we're moving into a new office, guys. Well, I'm really excited. Chris has made some big purchases for the new office.
What have you purchased?
I purchased 2 MacBook charging cables.
Oh.
Because we've all kind of upgraded our MacBooks recently. We've all went from the old USB-Cs to the new MagSafes, and everybody keeps stealing like the one that I use. So I bought 2.
Nice.
Yep. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get pegs up on the wall. And I'm going to hang all the cables around the pegs.
Like the dog leads at nursery?
Yes. Not like everybody doesn't have their own, but what you do is you pick one and then you take it back.
Oh, IKEA has special hooks for that.
Do they?
And I'll grab them when I go. I might go today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, honey.
Great. We've not got chairs for the new desks. We want these chairs, but Chris isn't convinced. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait till the desks arrive. Yep. We're going to build the desks. Yep. We're going to take one of these chairs or 2 of these chairs, take them down there, see if they fit, see if they work. If not, we will...
Guys, like, my posture is terrible. Like, I am looking after the staff. My posture is terrible because they are designed to be slouchy chairs, right?
They're designed to have cross legs.
Yeah, slouchy chairs. Now, for the staff, like for instance, look at Laura, rickety old Laura. Do you know what I mean? She's just a bag of bones as it is, you know? But I appreciate that she needs as much
all
padding.
of the staff love these chairs.
Yeah.
Anybody who, they all love these chairs. Everybody.
I think the chairs that Chris got for £40 for 12 chairs.
They're not great, guys. They're awful. Half of us don't sit on them.
Yeah.
Half of us do not utilise them because we don't like them. But they'll look nice all together around that table for the boardroom once we all clear out of there.
The boardroom.
The boardroom.
Do you know what I did this morning? On the back of the accountant thing, I contacted more accountants to get more quotes because that's the sensible thing to do. We'll
No,
not just
it's
go
not.
with the first one.
I don't have time for this.
No, I'll do it. It's fine. I've booked a Zoom call on Tuesday at 3:30.
Where are they from?
Paisley.
What's their names?
I can't say that on the brand the pod.
There was 2 that had good reviews. The one that I went with.
Do you know it's him and his son, but his son's like 5 years old. So he's 5. That's a lie right away in this title because
But a lot of businesses do that to make themselves seem better. So seem bigger.
I'm going to rebrand Nail Order.
He's got really good reviews.
Chris Costello and dogs.
That is a really cheap. That's a really cheap quote. If you compare that to what we were paying,
honey, I did some research with my girlfriend this morning, and she says for a small medium business like we are, we should be paying anything between $250 and $500 per month.
Chris, we paid. Do you remember we paid £300 a month when we were the only 2 employees?
We actually got ripped off.
No, Chris.
And this is also for
I
payroll.
promise you, I'm in charge of this, and you're nothing to do with it. So I will be making the decisions on this because you don't take any consideration for it right now.
Do you guys ever do like social media with your partner?
And do you know the other thing that Chris does, right, is he downplays everything. Yeah. He just downplays it all. Yeah. Yes, but all that does is create somebody that's like really pissed off and then is just going to charge you extra as you go along.
No.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you tell them like you're busy and stuff like that, they're like, no, the money's coming in. I'm going to have a slice of that pie.
They're going to see that anyway. They're accountants. They see all of the money coming in.
Right. I just want to point something out, right, guys? This used to be our podcast studio, right? So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the mess. We don't even have products up here anymore. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you for why. We are creating new products all the time. And Rebecca is now using this as a sample stockroom. I am looking at, literally, there is tons and tons of stuff everywhere. We don't even. It's not even set up for the pod anymore.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cardboard boxes just in my line of sight, and I know there's another one around that corner. 8 cardboard boxes, 2 trolleys.
Can I just point something out, honey? Right, I'm a hot beast with my new hair that nobody's commented on.
It's green, excellent. Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. Why is the radiator over my side?
Oh, it's just. I don't know.
It's just because you couldn't be bothered looking at it over your side throughout the whole of the summer. Yeah.
No.
Folly, everything.
Not why.
Just stuff. And honestly, that other one, the bag of bones I was talking about earlier on, and cheekbones as well, they were up here just messing my studio up. This used to be my like sacred place.
Where do you want me to do these activities?
Unit 2. Alan's just moved all the stuff out. I'm kidding. He's not. He's just relocating stuff. Anyway, honey, let's actually get on with the podcast. So, we're going to do this in 2 parts. We're going to talk about all the stuff that we used to do in the salon, and if we could go back in time and be like, whoa, Nelly or Rebecca, let's change this. Or basically what you would tell your younger self. We're going to use it as back in the salon days, which a lot of you guys will be able to relate to, but we also thought it'd be fun, no we didn't, to be able to do it with Nail Order. Now, Nail Order's been going for 5 years this month. So it's our 5th birthday we're celebrating.
And a lot of you guys are probably like, what? Really? Nail Order's 5? It's not. The iteration as you see it today is not 5. The iteration as you see it today is only like 18 months old.
This is another downplay thing that you do, honey.
But it's true.
No, but...
We started selling gels in October 2023. So the business, as most people know it, is only, so 18 plus couple, whatever.
Anyway, if you're OGs and you have been around since back in the days when we were selling face masks during the pandemic to protect you guys, thank you, first of all, for sticking around with us. And secondly, I don't know where I was going with that. First of all, thank you for sticking around. Secondly, you've seen us grow massively since then. So yeah, you know what we're talking about. Honey, I want you to cast your mind back. And now we've talked about this in the podcast before. We used to have a beauty salon, a couple of different beauty salons, but we're going to talk about Elixir Lounge, which was the kind of main beauty salon we had. And we moved upstairs, as we call it. Was it 2014, 2015?
I think it was 2017.
Oh, 2017.
I think. It could be 2016. Oh, no, I think it's 2016.
It was the year we get married. 2016. Huh?
So it was 2016.
Yeah. 2016. I think it was around about September, October, we moved upstairs.
Yeah, it was.
So we're gonna focus on that. Now, bear in mind, we changed loads when it came to that salon. But I just want to catch on a couple of things that we changed when we got upstairs. And if you would go back and if you would change the things that we changed. Does that make sense?
Okay.
All right. So before that, we had a smaller salon downstairs. We call it upstairs, downstairs. You probably heard us speak about this before in the pod. The downstairs salon was really just the most basic first iteration of what Rebecca and I could come up with.
Because we had no money.
Yeah, we had no money. It was 4 nail desks, a waiting area, 2 beauty rooms, and a spray tan room that Chris actually built himself with his own bare hands. My dad actually had to go to B&Q in his ice cream van to get some drywall for us to build.
And you're forgetting the little wall, the other random wall that we put up where we put a little my brow bed behind there.
Forgot about that. Yeah, and the landlord came along when we were moving out and he was like, I don't think that's up to code, and started pushing it. It was wobbling. I thought, yeah, you're right. I'll take that down. So, honey, when we moved upstairs, there was a lot of things that we introduced because we had a lot more staff and stuff like that. Do you want to talk about some of the things that we introduced and you think to yourself, whoa, I wish I'd introduced them earlier?
Banning children from the salon.
Banning children from the salon.
Honestly,
again, we've touched on it briefly with the tipping point, but downstairs we were cool. You could walk in with children.
Yeah.
Upstairs we put a ban on it.
No children under 10.
Why was that, honey?
Because we had so many bad experiences. And this is the thing, like, so many of the changes that you make in business, and when you go if you think, oh, go back in time and change something, it's because of experiences that you've had. I
think that's the case with most things in life.
I think so. I think the number one thing I wish somebody had said to me, or I could say to my younger self, is it's your business. Do with it as you want.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
As you want.
I think when you start out in business, you very much succumb to your customers.
Oh, for sure.
Whatever they demand. I mean, we're terrible for it at nail order. We currently just, if you guys want it, we kind of do it. It's kind of wild. We should actually just stop that. But we were really bad when it came to the salon. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes people would come in for like an intimate wax and they would have 3 young kids with them. Maybe one in a buggy or a pram or something. So when you explain to them, they're not probably going to fit in the
it's when
room.
People would come in for microblading with a baby. It's like, and I would say, who's going to look after that baby?
Yeah. Oh, no, it's fine. She'll just sleep.
No.
As soon as the treatment starts, that baby will wake up. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you and I just now. Like last night we were having a cuddle and a kiss, and as soon as we did, the 2 dogs were there right beside you. Do you know what I mean?
Hello.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, they want to share the love as well. Do you know what I mean? And that's just what it's like. It's the kids instinctively know to wake up at the most inconvenient time. Trust me, I've got a kid. I know what it's like.
So yeah, I would say that is the overarching thing is, if I could go back and say to my younger self, it would be, it's your business, do with it as you want. But yeah, the kids thing, it was an absolute zoo, and it can't have been an enjoyable experience for other customers. I think a lot of customers, they go to get treatments done to have some them time, to get away from their own kids. So having somebody else's kid hang off the back of their chair.
The amount of times we actually had complaints about it. Do you know what? It was actually not so much in the beauty salon. When we had the hair salon, you would have a lot of customers.
Yeah, people would come in, their kids would come in with their scooters and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so inappropriate.
Up and down the shop. Or Greg's sausage roll. Classic Greg's sausage roll.
Greg's sausage rolls was a problem in every location we've had.
And literally, there would be crumbs everywhere.
And whose job is it to clean that up?
Imagine you're there to get your hair, I don't know, coloured or whatever, you know, maybe your roots touched up and all the rest of it. And you're there sitting on a chair with a nice little cup of tea or a glass of wine we used to offer sometimes, you know. And you've got some other kid like climbing all over the top of you while their mum's actually getting her hair done. You know, Greg's sausage roll, sticky fingers.
Yeah, nightmare. Total nightmare.
Oh, the worst part is they'd come in with a whole Greg's and they wouldn't bring me one. I used to hate that. All right. So one of the things that we did implement when we moved upstairs was a receptionist. Mm-hmm. And that receptionist brought lots of things with them.
Yes, we've talked about this several times before, but I think policies is the main thing that I would go back and tell my younger self, other than do with your business as you please, because policies just create an understanding, you know.
I think it's kind of like everything in life right now. Like you understand right from wrong for the most part. Some of you guys don't, but that's another story for another day. But it's laid out by what's, for instance, illegal or what's frowned upon, stuff like that. You have policies in life. Mm-hmm. But when it came to the beauty salon downstairs, it was a free-for-all. We had no policies. You could do pretty much, it was a Wild West, as you said in a podcast previous. So when we moved upstairs, one of the first things that we kind of implemented was a receptionist. Now, they came with their own ideas. What were some of the policies and stuff that...
Take customer details?
Yeah. Wild. Something we didn't do. Yes, we'd probably take a customer's name. But we wouldn't take things like an email address, a phone number.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. So that was great that Jennifer did that. We've talked about this before. So yeah, that was the number one thing. I don't know if it was at that point or a little bit later that we introduced deposits.
No, I think it was roughly about then because we're migrating over to a new booking system.
To Avatu. So deposits, guys, yeah, for sure, take them. Like, people will waste your time.
Yeah.
So that was definitely something I would say to my younger self. People will waste your time.
You guys probably know it. Like, the amount of times you've said to someone, sure, no problem, I'll get you booked in as soon as you can pay this deposit.
And then they go, oh, I don't know. Do you know what? I would actually go back now and tell myself, take a bigger deposit.
Oh, really?
Oh, for sure.
What was the kind of average?
I think we took like 10%, something ridiculous. So it's only a couple of pounds, 10 or 15%. Not enough to cover staff's time if somebody didn't turn up. So I would go back and tell myself, make sure the deposit you're taking is enough to cover that staff time.
Yeah. And try and make it as automated as possible.
Yeah.
PayPal, booking system, stuff like that. Try not to give out your bank details, but I know that is a...
Yes. That's not something that I would go back and tell myself because I never had to, but this is definitely advice I would give to somebody else. Do not let a client leave your premises without paying. It boggles my mind the number of times I see posts where people are like, oh, what do I do? They've left. They said they would transfer me the money. No. They should have paid. Don't let them go. Bank transfers, what a pain in the backside. Just try and, like Chris said, automate it.
Yeah, make it as seamless as possible. So, for instance, if they're like, oh, my card's not working, I forgot my card, no problem. You've got your phone, I've seen you use your phone. Let's do a bank transfer. Let's just transfer it by PayPal, something like that. Make it as always have options.
And make them leave something if they can't for whatever reason. Like, come on. Like, if you've got your phone on you, you have a way of making a payment.
Yes.
You do.
You actually do. So don't take excuses. Don't take crap.
Yeah, because people will let you down.
Yeah, always. And the thing is, you've not just lost that the payment for that. You've
lost the customer.
You've lost the customer because they'll never come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never give out tick. Tick is a slang word here in Glasgow for credit.
Yeah, never give it out.
There you go. Let's talk staff.
Oh God, there's so many things I would tell my younger self about staff.
Well, let me, just based on now what we know, everything has changed from the pandemic. Now, all the staff that we had were employed.
Yes.
Would you keep that as a thing, or would you have them self-employed?
Do you know what? I don't know. It served us really well having employed staff at the time. But given my experiences now, how much I know they will just let you down. They don't care. No matter how good you are to them, they don't care. It will just be rubbed in your face. People will ask for more and more. Give them an inch, they'll take a mile. To avoid all of that hurt and let down, I would probably just have employed staff.
Employed?
Yeah.
Employed?
Self-employed, sorry. Self-employed.
Right, okay. So like as in your hands off, they can fill their own books, or
whatever it is, I don't know. There's so many different ways of doing it. You know, you can do the percentage splits, etc. But yeah,
if I could go back, like somebody asked us a question on TikTok the other day there, and I was grumpy, so I didn't think about the answer.
Chris grumpy.
I was just having a bad day. Okay,
it's too many of them.
Jeez Louise, right? Okay. So the question was, if you could go back and run your own salon, would you?
Yeah, do you miss
running? Do you know what I would do completely differently now?
What?
I would be the puppet master. We've spoken about this before. I would rent a big space that has nail desks and beauty rooms and just sublet them out to tons and tons of different people. You know, maybe have a central diary system.
Is there a business in that though? Where is the business in that?
Because you're always taking a markup.
Right.
So think about it. You'd either charge them like rent for their desk space or whatever it is, or you could charge them a small percentage. I think if you have like a central diary, you know, where if someone wants to book in for nails, lashes and a wax, and you have 3 different people who are doing that, you can orchestrate it. I personally couldn't. I don't have the capacity to do that. Like play diary Tetris is what it's called. But someone like Jennifer, that's an ideal job for her. 100%. I think that's the way I would do it now.
Yeah. There's a lot of things with staff that I would go back and I would change or tell my younger self so I didn't need to have the negative experiences. Another one would be, you know, tight contracts and things like that, making sure you have agreements in place, especially around training and things like that. And a big one, this is going to sound really cutthroat, but it's really not.
And the reason I know exactly what you're going to say, because we've just had a conversation with somebody who owns a salon.
Yeah.
Based on this.
Is if somebody hands in their notice, no matter how nice your relationship is with them, you say, thank you very much. I'm going to pay you your notice pay and tomorrow or today will be your last day.
Yeah.
because
we're going to make today your last day.
So many times we would be like, oh, you know, it's all friendly, it's all nice. They've handed their notice. They're going to be here for another 3-4 weeks, whatever it is. And you will hear them. Like I could actively hear them telling the clients whether, like, you know, trying to take the clients with them. Physically. And I just don't think that's very demure.
It's not.
It's a bit gross.
At that point in time, they don't care because they've moved on. Yeah. In fact, in their head, they've probably moved on months ago.
In their head, those clients belong to them.
Yeah.
We've talked to this before. Clients don't belong to anyone. And obviously, you've worked hard to try and attract them to your business. And whilst they may enjoy going to that nail technician, and again, we've talked about this before, it's often the whole entire experience that the salon brings to them that they enjoy. But yes, cut your ties. Pay them their notice period. Pay them their holidays.
Yeah, let's just talk about real quick. A company that we've referred to several times, ACAS in the UK. What does it stand for again?
Oh, I don't know.
Something. Anyway, it's for both employees and employers, and they give you advice, basically.
Impartial advice.
Impartial advice.
Yeah.
From what we gather, technically, it doesn't matter what states in the contract or whatever. You have to give a week's notice, either.
It depends how long the person's worked for you for.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the statutory notice period differs depending on the amount of tenure they have.
So realistically, if you have to pay someone a week, maybe even 2 weeks of their notice period, quite often there's holidays bundled into that as well. It's a small price to pay. It usually hurts at the time because you're thinking, I may need to pay this person £600, £700.
Yeah.
You know, if they're full time or something.
Especially if you, like you said, take into consideration holidays.
Yeah. Again, maybe in 2 weeks and holidays and stuff like that, if they've accrued tons of holidays, it does make a difference because for every client that you stop them taking, that'll pay you back. And
you're not going to stop. You're not going to stop all of them. It's not going to be like that. But you will be able to protect your business a little better. Also, what you find is if you cut it like that and just say, like, it's just for the best practice for the salon, or it's just the way we run things here. You know, we want to retain a good friendship with you. You know, it's nothing personal, but based on our experience, we don't want things to go sour. If you're, telling clients, be honest with them, and realistically, if they're a good person, they'll be like, well, actually, you know what? There you go. Yeah. You know, maybe one day they'll be in the same position. Yeah. But yeah, at the end of the day, whilst you may have really friendly relationships, during their employment, they generally don't care. So it's just the nature of the beast. Unfortunately, you can do whatever you can. I think it probably hurts more for us because we've been around the block on several times with different businesses. You try your best for everyone. So many times of things that we have done for employees that are so out of the realm of anything an employee needs to do. Like how many times, even bloody just now, you're helping people move house. Like Chris helps people move houses because we've got like a van. Just so many things, helping with driving lessons and just a ridiculous number of things. And it always ends up getting thrown in your face. It's kind of sad that people forget like how much you do for them. It's really sad. It's it's sad how quickly they forget. Yeah, but. Yeah. I know. Like you said, it's the nature of the beast. People are generally very selfish. But you know what annoys me more about it is how much we cared when we worked for other people. When it was big companies, Why the heck would we care about phones for you or selling beds or selling TVs or something like that, microwaves? Doing our best. But we would do our best because we wanted to, well, if you know anything about Rebecca and I, we are highly competitive. So we always wanted to be the best in that store or best in the region or something like that. But we also wanted to do the best for the customers because they would refer other people and they would come back around, But not everybody's made that way, unfortunately, Chris. Yeah, we just need to keep doing what we're doing. I think people just need to be kinder. And I, honestly, if I could just spread any message in this world, it would be stop thinking only about yourself in every single aspect of life. Even when it comes down to who you vote for. Don't vote for somebody, a party, because it's what's going to be good for you. Vote because it is good for the whole, the greater good. Think about the greater good and stop only thinking about yourself. Like that is, oh God, a message I would love to spread. Yeah. Well, you'll spread it, honey. To 400 people maybe who listen to this. But anyway, just be good people and think about the greater good and don't only think about yourself because thinking only about yourself doesn't improve situations in life. Yeah. It may be a quick fix. Quick fix, but not for the greater good. Yeah. Let's talk about staff training. Because that's something we were quite open to in terms of putting staff on training courses. Yep. If you could go back in time, what would you tell like your younger self? In terms of training, I feel like we did pretty... Would you do more training? Yeah, probably. probably would do more training. It's one of those ones that, you can write it into contracts where if they leave within a certain period of time, you can make deductions, etc. I definitely think that is a good way to go, because what you don't want is somebody coming along, working for you for a couple of months, gathering up all of these training courses and then buggering off and essentially just getting all that training for free. So definitely bundle that into a contract, but be reasonable about it. Don't say, you've got to work for me for 5 years to get that. No, I mean, just be reasonable. We had it in a tiered way. So if you leave within X amount of time, there would be this amount of deduction, and if it was Y amount of time, it would be this deduction. Be reasonable and understand that it's a general cost of business, upskilling your staff or upskilling yourself. But I think we did it pretty well. I've talked before about how much I loved in-house training. I think it is generally, I think it's a bit of a psychological thing. Like if you're a staff member going to a big company to do training, you're like, well, I've gathered all this training and things like that. Also, I think staff are generally a lot more comfortable doing it at their own premises. And if they're doing it at their premises, they really feel like it's part of their employment. Yeah. There's less of that separation, I think, a little bit psychologically.
So we have spoken about this before in the pod, so let's just run over that real quick. So for instance, right now in Nail Order, we do training courses online, but you can also come to our training academy here in Paisley or up and down the country. But you were talking about in-house training. Yeah. Now, we had a salon of, say, 10 members of staff. Not to say that you'd always put all 10 members of staff on the training course, but say maybe out of that you put 6 on it. It's more cost effective to approach a trainer and say, could you come to our salon and do said training for a slightly less price than what it would be individually. Is that right?
Absolutely.
And what you find is those members of staff quite often they do themselves as models.
Yep.
So if you have 6 members of staff and they're doing, say, a lash thing or whatever it is, you can do one on lashes and then flip them around, and then they can do the other model as well. And like every podcast, somebody's calling me. It's Laura Parisi. Hi, Laura. You're on the mic with Mike.
What?
You're on the podcast.
Oh, well, I just wanted to call you to let you know that you're speaking to the proud owner of our new property.
Yeah! And now everybody in the podcast knows. What house?
It's one that I went to see last night.
What? Where? You've not sent us it? Have you sent us it?
No, not yet, but I'll send you some.
Okay, well, super congratulations. Send it over and we'll have a look when we're finished recording the pod.
Okay.
Amazing.
Thanks, guys.
Happy
Bye.
for you. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Oh.
All right, so we cut most of that out, but the main gist of it is Laura has been searching for a house for ages and she seems to have got herself a bargain. I mean, we've not seen the house yet. We'll see this afterwards, but in terms of price, congratulations. Well done.
Yeah. You'll only keep the part in where she goes, that's really cute. Yeah. Really, really cute. Hopefully by the time you've listened to this, she's moved in.
In terms of staff, like there is certain staff that we do like cherish and adore, you know? And it is sad when things go sour. I know we're just talking about staff there. Laura is one of those members of staff that it will go sour very south. Very quickly. It won't. No, I think Laura is one that we'll probably love and cherish for a long time. She's done a lot for the business and she's done a lot for us, and we try to help her out as much as possible as well. So well done.
Amazing news.
Yeah.
Woo!
Oh, hang on.
Do your button.
Hang on. Stand by.
But is it going? Woo! That's great. And even better, she's got someone to look after the boys now. So we've got another babysitter.
Yeah, really. Now that she's got her own place. No, it's not to say. The thing is, right, Bailey loves Laura's dad. But Daki, nah, not so keen. So now that Laura's got her own place, we can actually get some dates, honey.
I know.
All right. Anyway, digress. Golly, interruptions this podcast.
What was I going to say? I was going to say something else.
Staff training. One thing that happened during our tenure of having the salon was the pandemic. And that, I think, changed tons of stuff for everybody across the world. Mm-hmm. What were things that happened or we had to implement after the pandemic or during the pandemic that you wish that you had done well before that? Or was there anything you go back and change? I
think the majority would hold their hands up and say, do you know what? The pandemic really helped me highlight that we could have been better in terms of on top of hygiene and things like that. Not to say that we weren't. I would say we were doing the basics that the majority of nail technicians and beauty therapists were doing at the time. I think COVID really helped us look at that and go, oh gosh, we could really up our standards with that. And that's okay. It's absolutely okay to admit that, do you know what? Maybe I wasn't doing things to a great standard then and move forward. So I would definitely say that. The use of gloves during nails.
Massive, yeah.
Yeah, that was purely for hygiene. And obviously now knowing what I know now in terms of products, and I know you're going to ask me about that in a bit. Yeah, the use of gloves, just generally upping our game in terms of hygiene. We were very lucky that we didn't have any sort of issues with infection or, greenies and all sorts of different things before that. But maybe these things are a ticking time bomb. So, yeah, I think COVID was great for that.
I think COVID just highlighted certain things.
It did.
It just brought the attention more so.
Even patch testing. We were pretty good for patch testing for the most part.
Well, let's catch your mind back before.
Okay, before Elixir.
The old Salon.
Okay, yeah, no.
Terrible. We never did it.
We were terrible.
And
no, we didn't never do it. I did it from HD Brows.
HD Brows, you did.
But
we had some staff who worked for us then they're probably completely different now again because of the pandemic. But they'd be like, it's all right.
Yeah, we were definitely lackadaisical when it came to patch testing. And I look at that now and I go, oh God, that was really scary. And we were so lucky. So lucky. And I say lucky because, again, if you're not patch testing, you're a beauty therapist who's doing, tinting and stuff, it's a ticking time bomb. Don't risk it. Who cares? You're going to lose, £12, £15 for a tint? Who cares?
Yeah.
Because the problems that could come with that.
Unreal.
Yeah.
One thing I would say is, again, the pandemic changed things. So, for instance, our insurance company at the time said you can still patch test people and you can send them the patch test because we didn't want foot traffic coming into the salon.
Yes.
As long as it was first class.
First class,
which we've covered before. Now, at that point in time, I kind of thought to myself, yes, it's costing us money to send these out, but realistically, if a staff has some downtime, they can just make up all these different patch tests.
Yep.
And we can either send them out, or if someone walks in, there's a patch test.
Hand them on.
They go do it at home.
Yep.
I think patch tests are great. One thing that we don't like, for instance, when you were doing microblading, you used to send patch tests out all the time. Mm-hmm. I've got tattoos everywhere. Well, I don't
never get a patch test with a tattoo. How weird, eh?
So weird.
So weird.
The place I go to get my tattoos, the infection and hygiene control they have is top notch by far.
They are very good, yeah.
But we've been to some shady places.
Oh yeah, I mean So we got this at the essentially the side of a road.
Yep.
In a nightclub in Bali in the dark with a guy wearing a head torch.
Yeah, wearing a head torch, so you could see.
Now
bear in mind it was free drinks for everybody, including the guy who was doing it.
It was excellent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the spotlight on hygiene and general practices, safety practices that COVID brought, absolutely excellent.
What about, now this is where I would need you to put your nail order head on here. If you could go back and tell yourself things like products, equipment, and maybe I'd even go as far as training as well.
What about pricing?
Pricing as well. What would you go back
Okay,
and tell?
let's quickly address pricing. So that one's easy. And it would be, Rebecca, don't base your prices on what everybody else's prices are because that has nothing to do with the price of cheese. Oh. Actually work it out. I can remember at one point in Elixir using a pricing calculator, a very basic pricing calculator that we'd found and looking at things. And I've always had a head for numbers, so it wasn't quite as crude as just matching prices to somebody else's prices. I did do the maths, but probably not as in-depth as I should have. And I probably did take other people's prices into consideration a little bit too much. So now let's look at products. If I could go back and tell my younger self something and go back and tell newer nail techs, and in fact, any nail tech listening something, what a bottle looks like is completely irrelevant to your business. Do your clients care that wall looks beautiful? No, they don't. Do they care that their nails are in healthy condition and their manicure is lasting? Yes, they do. I really wish people would pay less attention to aesthetics. And I think our bottles and stuff look really, really good for my taste.
Something we've been discussing recently a lot in Nail Order is the aesthetic of our bottles and others' bottles. It's healthy to talk about competition and stuff.
It's not, our brand isn't going to suit everyone. No brand is going to suit everyone. But what I would say is don't give a crap about what a bottle looks like. What is the point in caring about the aesthetics of a bottle when the product inside is shit? I have no other way of saying it than that. Yeah. What does it matter? Like, how ridiculous are you that you only care about the way something looks? If that is you, and this sounds really, really harsh, you really need to take a look at yourself.
Yep.
I'm not going to be nice about it because you do.
But we need a little bit more context. So we used to use a famous brand in our salon, and we changed over to them. We used to use a mix of brands before that. We still kind of used a bit of a mix, but it was the majority of them.
And what I will say is,
and we made it look really pretty up on the wall by having tons of shelves, hundreds of bottles.
The cleaning involved in that.
Yeah, and it was eye-catching when you came into the salon. There was like a whole mixing station almost of like colours and stuff. That's the way it appeared to be. It wasn't. It was just basically just a wall of gel polishes. It did look great, and I think you were focused on that because it was a great product at the time.
I will say that myself, I was not, the way that the bottle looked was never to my taste. So the way that the bottle looked, I genuinely didn't care about. And like we've talked about, we used a complete mix of brands. The way that bottle looked never really appealed to me. But
the thing that boggled my head, like, and I was speaking to someone at Niche about this, and when we were designing the bottles, one thing we always said to ourselves is, why is the colour identifier on the bottom of the bottle?
It varies depending on the product.
Sometimes at the top of the bottle, right?
Yes, but depending on the product.
But the thing is,
and you'd watch the girls.
Yeah, when it's up on the shelf, you couldn't see it.
You couldn't tell.
It didn't make
because
sense.
all the bottles were identical on the outside, so you'd have to go along picking up all the bottles.
I know why a brand would do that, because it's much, much cheaper to do that.
Oh my God, it's so much cheaper. The problems that we have with our gels is because of the bottles.
Yes.
Any delay on anything is because of the goddamn bottles.
The bottles are very unique, but they
give
you
many
so
moving
many
parts.
options.
Yeah.
They give you so many options.
So when we chose that brand, for me, it was nothing to do with the aesthetics. The aesthetic wasn't my aesthetic. I didn't find it particularly exciting. It wasn't something I ever considered. I went with that product because of the choice that was open to me. And at the time, gels in the market, like we've talked about before, we started using gels from the conception of shellac, which was the first UV curable gel polish. I think I could be talking out my bum, but I think that's true. But anyway, the first one that we well known and that I used anyway. So from there was very little choice. When that brand came around, they seemed exciting in that they seemed like young and more current, and their color choice was the main thing for us. We really liked the color choice.
Also said companies market them as excellent, where they would market to the end consumer. The end consumer would come in and ask you for a colour that is well known. And
do you know what else I really liked? Just remembered? The non-stick top coat.
Oh.
That was kind of a revolutionary thing at the time. I've just had that epiphany. Anyway, so that's why we chose them. And we were very lucky with those products, is what I would say. And certainly for the time when there wasn't a huge choice, especially when we're talking back, say, 2014, wasn't a huge choice of brands or products. It served us well. I think a lot of that, though, is the way that we did the treatments. We weren't applying the products thick, et cetera, et cetera. So
it's funny that you didn't really take their training to heart. Like, you didn't do any of their training courses, and I'm
never
glad
did a
you
single
didn't.
one of those brands' training courses.
I'm glad you didn't, because they would tell you to put builder quite thick, build up apexes. And
they
stuff
might
like
have encouraged extending and things like that. So, yeah, if I could go back and tell my younger self about aesthetics, it would be don't choose aesthetics products. It would be don't choose it based on aesthetics. That's not something that I would personally do anyway. But it would be make sure you don't do that, and start having a look at the chemistry. Have a closer look at the brand and the morals and ethics. I think that's easier said now than it was back then, because now you have so much more choice. Now you have the choice of literally hundreds of brands, whereas back then you were talking about tens.
Handfuls, yeah.
So it's easy in hindsight to say, oh, look into these things more. There's also so much more education now as well. But I think generally, as a nail technician, educate yourself. That's what I would tell my younger self, educate yourself, because I don't think, looking back, I was well educated at all on the products that we were using.
Products we've covered. Let's talk about equipment. Now, this is one where Rebecca, there's parts to this, honey. Like,
there are parts.
Back then, you were Rebecca, Sun UV, buy 6-10 lamps every 3 months.
I was that person. And if you're listening and that is you, I was that person. So I'm not going to scathe you. I'm not going to tell you that you're doing things wrong, because I was that person and I have been there, and I was 1,000,000% that nail tech. That's a lamp's a lamp. They're just trying to sell. I've probably said it. I think I have said it. They're just trying to sell you an expensive piece of equipment, blah, blah, blah. That's the same. Look at it. They look exactly the same.
Things have changed.
Things have changed so much. Let's
just paint a picture, right? So when we were developing the gels, when you were developing the gels, I was just there for good looks. When you were developing the gels, you had a handful of lamps from very, very cheap to very, very not cheap.
Yes.
And you
handful.
tried
Still
a lot,
got some of them.
Yeah, and you tried a lot in between.
Mm-hmm.
I think
because I wanted to bring out a lamp that was cheap.
Yeah, you did. That was
my
the
main goal.
target, to bring out a cheap lamp so you guys could have access to it. The problem is when you start using the good, high quality, expensive lamps. Now, the expensive part, take that away. It's the good and the high quality part. That's when things change.
Well, more to the point, the cheap lamps were just breaking really, really quickly and easily. And of course, you're going to have issues even with expensive lamps because there's a failure rate with everything, especially when it comes to electronics.
Of course.
But I can remember that first time. I could feel the power difference. I could just feel it. And funnily enough, at Niche Nail Network, some people picked up our lamps. They went, "Whoa, whoa!"
Yep.
You know, you can just feel the quality difference.
It's just things like for instance, the Lumi lamp that we have, the cordless one. It's really heavy because it's got a massive battery in it, and it has to have a massive battery to be able to send all that power to all those lights and do it consistently. That's a big thing, consistently.
I just want to explain something like really, really basic. Why, if a cheap lamp was compatible with our products, right? Yeah. Why would we not just sell it? Why would we not just sell a cheap lamp that we know we're going to sell hundreds or thousands of units? We're going to bosh them out. Why would we not do that? Of course we would do it. Yeah. Because also, see, to have our lamps on the shelves costs us 4 times. I am not joking. In fact, more than 4 times. Nearly 5 times the amount per unit to have on our shelves than a cheap lamp. Yeah. So why would we not just have cheap lamps that we were just selling millions of, boom, getting them out to people? And
that's the thing, like...
Of course we would. We would give them away.
For us to get... you probably would actually. You buy a big boy, you get a free lamp, something like that. Don't clip that up and tell people.
It just doesn't work. It doesn't exist, guys. It doesn't exist. A cheap lamp that works doesn't exist. Not that I've found.
If you buy a cheap travel hairdryer...
God, you know those ones that do this?
Yeah. And then you buy like a Dyson or something. The Dyson might be a lot quieter, you know, so it's not to do with that, but it's the power that it is, you know, swiftly getting from one place to the next.
The quality of the components and the inside, the amount of time it's going to last you. So yes, I wish I could go back and tell my younger self, stop wasting money, wasting time and ruining the environment by buying hundreds of lamps every 3 months and buy one quality one that's going to last you 18 months to 2 years? Yes, I would. Just make the initial investment, Rebecca, because it was a joke. The number of those goddamn lamps.
Yeah. And the thing, guys, at one point we had a training academy in Paisley, and we had all the excess lamps down there just because we had nowhere else to put them. And I was trying to literally butcher them together to try and make a cohesive lamp.
Oh God, they're so bad.
Sometimes the screen would stop on the top of it, so you wouldn't know how long it's been in for or whatever. And so I would try and take the top casing off to... Oh, it's wild. The
whole thing is wild. So yeah, I think the lamp thing, I would tell myself that for sure.
Any other bits of equipment?
E-files. Oh my God. When I think about the e-files that we had, right? So I had my UP2000, really expensive one, over £400. It was a gift. Excellent e-file. Fantastic e-file. I stand by it to this day.
You still have it somewhere?
It is somewhere. In fact, I know exactly where it is. I think it's in the stock room.
Yep.
I think. Anyway.
Bloody about me.
But then for the Salon, we just had all these random collection of really cheap ones that probably varied from £17 to $39 off Amazon. Wow, they were bad. They were bad. They had zero torque.
Yeah, for instance, I remember, this is going to sound wild to you guys, but Chris sometimes did removals, right? And I can remember removing non-standard Salon acrylics with an e-file.
Stop.
It would stop.
It just
yes,
stops.
thank you. I knew you were going. That's what I was trying to get. You would be like halfway through the nail and it would just stop.
Because there's no torque.
It was
crazy. Wild. So yeah, e-files, I would invest in a good quality e-file.
But do you want to tell me where, I remember Rebecca coming home from that training course. Do you want to talk about that real quick?
I think I've already talked about it from the loose Pastrelli one.
Yeah, you have actually.
Yeah, and I can remember before the loose Pastrelli one, I was like, nothing's going to compare to my UP2000. And then I used hers and I was like,
oh.
Whilst my UP2000 was excellent, had fantastic torque, it was really old. And the vibration was clearly a lot more than I realised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, I was using that at my training course when I did extensions at UP2000.
Were you?
Yeah, I was. I quite like it. I do quite like it. But yeah, probably get Lucy's anyway. Any more equipment things, lights, lamps, stuff like that?
I mean,
one thing that we did is we invested in IKEA kitchen cabinets for the beauty rooms. I think that was a really good investment because they were great storage cabinets.
And
we had a little sink in each of them and stuff like that. So great value for money.
Yeah.
So I think if you are looking for stuff like that, use something else. Don't necessarily go to like a beauty supplier to get cupboards and stuff. Just go to IKEA. Get kitchen cabinets, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So the good bit, the bit I've been waiting to see what your reaction is on this one, nail order stuff.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So nail order was conceived. Let me just give you guys a quick ballpark. The pandemic happened. Rebecca and I went into the salon. We cleaned the salon. We tidied the salon.
We painted the salon.
We spoke about several things that we had in the salon, things like cuticle oils, etc., like that. And we started to work out just how much they were costing us. Basically, the pandemic gave us time. That's what it really gave us, time to be able to sit and work all these things out.
Pandemic, if you haven't realised, was the best thing that ever happened to us.
Yeah, absolutely. At that point in time, we worked out that the cuticle oils that we were selling, we used to make double the money on, which was good. But at that point in time, all of a sudden, the prices started going up. The margin was going down, and actually the pen size, the actual volume of the pen was going down.
More to the point, the rules they imposed on us.
We've heard that before. Anyway, so that made Rebecca and I think to ourselves, well, we've got some time. Why don't we just make our own cuticle oils? And the idea was really just to sell them in our salon, and hopefully some local other salons might take them up. And pretty much that's how nail order started. Now, you guys know tons of stuff has gone on since then. Rebecca and I have grown. In fact, we've shrunk. But we've grown as people. So, going back to that early 2020, is there anything you would change just in that first iteration of the cuticle oils and the sanitizers and stuff like that?
I don't know if I would. What about you?
We changed a lot right away. So, for instance, our pens were clear. Do you remember?
Yes.
So, they were clear, see-through pens.
Yes.
And we quickly changed them to black. That's because somebody was shouting at us because we were copying them. But that's another story for another day. Now, did you like the black pens? Like moving over to that?
Yeah, I did
Get away from
actually.
it?
I liked that we were doing something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there were clicker pens as well.
So I kind of wish we'd probably done something like that earlier. Like realised just go with your aesthetic. Like just go all out. But I mean, black sort of twist pens like that weren't really a thing, I guess.
No,
then.
they weren't.
No.
But the sanitizer bottle. So the first tropical juice
That's
sanitizer
what
bottle.
I really wanted a Boston bottle though. That's the shape that I wanted.
The Boston bottle was great, but it was clear. You could see through.
Yeah.
And the liquid inside, because it had glycerin in it.
Yeah, it's cloudy.
It's cloudy.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look the best. And this is why we've changed the bottle. We'll let you guys into secrets. This is why the bottles are not see-through, because of the glycerin that's in it that makes your hands not...
Also, we've changed suppliers now as well.
That's very true.
But that original tropical juice is the GOAT.
Oh, it is.
Everybody agrees.
Yeah.
It's the best one.
It is. I've actually got the second version of the tropical juice in the van right now, and it's quite nice. I like it. It's an old one that we don't sell it currently.
Such a great scent. It's weird how we still keep finding those little bottles just hanging around.
Yeah. It is. All right. So when we first started, it was pretty much you and I doing the operational side of things. We employed someone to do our social media. Mm-hmm. Why did we do that? It's kind of like right now with the accounting thing. Like, I keep thinking to myself, why do we need one?
Chris.
I know. Well, at that point in time, or before with the clothing store, if I'm honest with you.
Do you know why we need one? Right, let me ask you this question. Are you good at doing accounts?
Yes. I forget sometimes, but I'm good at
it.
it.
Are you good at doing accounts? No. Ask me the same question.
Honey, are you good at doing accounts?
No. So should we find someone else who actually is?
Sure. Okay.
It's the same with social media. Like, I think, honestly, when I look back, I think considering what we managed on our own, especially for our age, is what I'm going to say.
Damn yourself, woman.
I think we did really well. But we were just looking for that extra, that more professional level just to elevate things, weren't we?
Yeah. So we took someone on who would do social media for us. So it was kind of like the three of us, three amigos. Jennifer would help out as well. Mm-hmm. One thing that I want to just say, and this is something that still happens to this day at Nail Order, is we would like to take people on that can do multiple roles, multiple facets to the roles. You know, for instance, recently we've taken on BJ to do our web development type things, you know, just to upgrade the website to make things better.
Do you remember when we employed BJ and he was going to work half in the warehouse and half doing that?
That's what I'm trying to get at, honey.
Because he had warehouse experience.
He had warehouse experience.
And we didn't think we had hours to give him.
Correct.
Yeah. And what's happened since then? He's never once worked a shift in the warehouse and he is now doing like double the amount of hours.
Yeah. Which is wild. Mm-hmm. It is wild. But I think that's like a good safety net. And I think that's something I would not change.
No.
You know?
Same like Sam as well.
Yeah.
Graphic design.
Let's talk about some of the things that we've taken on. Like, so for instance, we took on a social media person when we first started. Mm-hmm. Now, we were developing products and we were developing packaging for those products and stuff like that. When did we take on a graphic designer? Just in the ballpark of when Nail Order started to now.
Not very long ago.
Exactly, not long at all.
I
So
did
who
it-
was in the packaging, Rebecca? Who did the first extensions packaging and stuff like that?
Me.
Yeah, it was you. Which was, I think, bloody excellent.
The only thing that I did absolutely everything except for the cuticles and sanitizers.
True.
That was the only thing I didn't do.
Which we sanctioned out to somebody else.
Yes. So that was, everything else myself. But there's only so far that Canva can carry you.
Oh, yeah, very true.
And I'm not the most artistic person in the world.
And one of the things I love about Nail Order is you can quickly see, and by quickly, I mean just in the last 5 years, you can start scrolling back through Instagram and you can see from when, like Rebecca was doing it, was still great, honey. Honestly, I admire what you were doing so much. But now it's very elevated.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Sam's, definitely
It's
brought
like
it
the
to a new
website.
level.
Like when we were building out Shopify websites years ago, great. Sometimes we would just leave the website unlocked because we weren't paying attention to things. And anyone could come along and buy some. Thankfully, that only happened once and it was only for like an hour. But
And nobody actually bought who wasn't
Yeah.
there.
but now we have people in place to look after those things.
Mm.
Really, all we have to do is really just press a switch when we're changing the theme or changing like the sale things or something, or new product launches. So things have changed massively, Go back to that kind of first year. It was a bit crazy, wasn't it? Kind of wild.
Yeah.
Is there anything you would change now? One thing that I was thinking is brand ambassadors.
Oh my God, you just took the thought right out of my head. I was literally about to say this. I would go back and say, Rebecca, no one cares about brand ambassadors. Don't bother with it. No. I would go back and say, Rebecca, brand ambassadors are not the thing, and here's why. But what I will say in my defense is that at that point in time, brand ambassadors were everything.
Yes.
Everything. They were so on trend. But I wish I could go back to myself and say, buck the trend, don't do it, here's why.
Do you think... Well, I know that we didn't have the right policies in place with those brand ambassadors.
Yeah.
You
We
know,
were just too inexperienced at
It
business.
was very blasé. We didn't give them clear instructions and clear expectations.
Expectations, yeah.
You know?
And that's that. We were so tiny at the time. We were so tiny. A lot of them had a lot more followers than we did. I wish I could go back and say that. I'm so pleased now when I look at the industry to see that other brands seem to be dropping brand ambassadors as well.
I think we were one of the first.
For sure. I think we were the first. That I know of anyway.
Do you want to explain why?
Well, why we dropped it?
Yeah.
Because we just don't, I think that it served the nail techs or it served our business.
I think it's really hard that we go out our way to try and encourage and empower people to do the best that they can, or be the best they can be. When we had brand ambassadors, we didn't have gel polish. So they had to use another brand for gel polish.
Yeah, it was a whole
And
thing. It was really difficult, but it's also just really restricting for them as well, because when we did, it's like, well, you shouldn't really be using that. You shouldn't really be using this and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, but also we're like encouraging people to use multiple brands. So it just means that you can work with a big range of people and in a much more genuine way. The other thing with brand ambassadors is, and everybody is guilty of this, and I'm sure I would have been exactly the same, is that whilst it's really exciting to begin with, after a while, it just loses it loses its spark and becomes laborious, and people just generally lose a bit of interest. It's just natural.
Yep. So you would send out products to them and you wouldn't get that voice note or that message like, oh, this is a great scent, or this is wonderful.
Nothing would happen.
You wouldn't even hear anything for like 2 weeks sometimes,
and
you've done a product launch and everything else, and they wouldn't have submitted like the one video that they're required to do, stuff like that.
But it's all very difficult, and if you're requiring somebody to do videos and stuff, you should really be paying them, and unless there's a real other understanding, I think so. Yeah, it's all. I think it's very difficult to navigate.
I quite like the way we're doing things now.
I really, really like it.
It's empowering for that one person for that one couple of weeks or whatever, And the fact that you guys get behind it and like, freely give out their codes.
And it's been so successful for every single nail tech who's done it for us recently. Really, really successful.
I remember at Niche, someone had come up and said, who's the affiliate this?
Really?
I was like, is it Jess? Somebody?
It was.
And they're like, great, it'll probably be Jess 10 for the code if you could just put it in. And I'm like, oh, you're already getting money off. Come on, you cheeky monkey. Let's talk about things that we have, other things that we've discontinued. So we'll talk about we discontinued brand ambassadors, but we had discontinued a lot of products.
Yeah.
Is there any ones that you go back and think to yourself, I wish I hadn't discontinued that, or subsequently, I wish I'd never brought that out in the first place? I'll start, since you're thinking. Aspen. Aspen was a weird one, right? Because the scent of aspen is excellent, but it did not work as a cuticle oil. It's too light. It just doesn't work. There's not enough scent.
Really worked as a sanitizer, though.
But the sanitizer works so well. We've actually still got one downstairs, and anytime I spray it, everyone's like, what's that? Especially newer staff are like, what's that? For me, that was a learning curve. And when we started to create other sanitizers and cuticle oils and stuff like that afterwards, we thought to ourselves, right, what does it work?
Just because something works in a sanitizer doesn't mean or in an oil doesn't mean it's going to work in a sanitizer, and vice versa. And new scent that we're doing for autumn and winter is the most common one where things don't work in the sanitizer. Works great in an oil, beautiful oil, you guys are going to love it. And then people go, why not roll out the sanitizer? Because an apple strudel sanitizer, it doesn't work. Once you've got that, it's almost like the scent has to almost have an alcoholic undertone.
Perfumey almost.
Perfumey to be able to carry it properly.
Or I'd say super sweet.
It can't be like a baked good.
Yeah, it cannot.
Like, who wants a baked good? Yeah, it just doesn't work. So yeah, one we're working on for autumn, winter, got the sample through the other day and it just didn't work at all. I didn't think it was going to work, but the girl's like, oh no, it's going to work. I was like, oh no. So yeah.
And that's good that we're quite now open to it. Before we would have tried to force the issue.
Force it, yeah.
And if you're forcing something, for the most part, it doesn't work. Beauty butter is another good one. But we were too small at the time, I think.
I know. Right now, I don't have the time. Like, if you guys knew the amount of things that we were working on.
You'd be appalled.
It's just like something's got to give. And like hand care, like creams and stuff is probably that thing. Like, I would rather work. I think it's more beneficial to the business to work on new gel products.
It's not to say never.
No, it's not to say never. And especially if the team is bigger and we have, Laura is moving into a product development space, it's, probably the beginning of next year. So if I have somebody else in my team, because right now it is just me, whilst everybody else helps, don't get me wrong, everybody helps with the naming and the smelling and all these other things. But in terms of like orchestrating everything, it really is just me. So if I have somebody to help, then maybe we can do that.
I've tried to help recently with the cuticle oils. I've been forcing like samples being made and stuff.
And Laura and Chris have been.
I think, because I know a lot of the manufacturers, because we started this together. Yeah, I've worked with the manufacturers. It's easy for me to do it.
The
for
cuticle
Laura,
oils
it'd be difficult.
Are in a space where they sort of regulate themselves at this point.
Yeah, it's just comes down to votes.
But in terms of introducing new products is the problem.
Yeah,
is a problem. There's a lot to think about as well in terms of ingredients, what type of ingredients we want, moreover, what type of ingredients we don't want, what type of scents work in those type of bases, etc., etc.
Yeah. Okay. Cast your mind back to 2020.
Again?
No, in 2019 or 2018 or something, we spoke about bringing out gel polish because we could see like a small gap in the market for something that was a little bit different. Mm-hmm. We started our own business. If I'm honest with you guys, we never forced nail order into anything. It was so organic. It just happened naturally. It just flowed.
1,000,000%. The
flow has become more like Niagara Falls.
Yes.
But
I actually think the gel polish push was happening long before we decided to do it. And we were almost resisting.
Well, that's what I'm going to ask. So if you could go back and tell yourself in 2020, Rebecca, you actually just need to get going with gel polish. Do you think you would have?
Not then.
Why?
I needed the experience of extensions to give me the experience. Everything leads to another. Every decision leads to another. The cuticle oil prepared us for extensions. Extensions prepared us for gel polish, etc., etc., etc. I needed every step that came beforehand to make the next step work.
Something I've been saying recently, and it applies to a lot of things, a lot of other people as well. I keep saying this to my son Millen as well. Everything you have done has got you to here.
Yeah, which is why I don't believe in regrets, guys. Don't believe in regrets, because it doesn't matter what you did that was, if it was good, if it was bad, you're like, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. If you hadn't done it, you wouldn't be where you are right now.
It doesn't matter, because everything you have done has got you to here. It's made you a better person, or it's made you a more thoughtful person.
Or a stronger person, or whatever it is. Yeah, you need that experience. So every business that we have had
has got us to here.
Has got us to here. And that's also when you look at a sort of micro level, every product that we've done in nail order has led us to the next product. And I needed the experience of the previous one to give me the knowledge for the next one. With gel polish, I wish we had not resisted like we did. And we resisted
But that was other factors, honey. That was other companies. We didn't want those. We didn't want to interfere with those other companies.
We didn't. And we were like, we were going to, and then we were like, nah, do you know what? We can see that other brands are coming onto the scene. They're going to do it. And we tried to be really respectful in business. We probably should be less respectful and be more concentrated on our own business. But it's just who we are as people, isn't it? I guess. Treat others the way that you want to be treated.
Yeah, I think when you have a friendship with other brands, you want to give them as much respect as possible and be hands off and let them do their own thing.
Yeah. So
it's just sometimes it's other factors,
and ultimately you have to do what is right for your business. And if your customers are demanding and pushing, and if you look at the extensions thing, we weren't offering a full system. No. We weren't offering a full system. So the absolute right thing for the nail technicians and the absolute right thing for our business was that we had to do that. And we also just looked at the way that things were turning out with other brands. We thought, do you know what? That's not actually the way that we would do it. We were going to do it completely differently anyway. So yeah, I wish we had resisted less. I wish we'd gone with our gut and what our customers were really asking us for just a little bit sooner. But it wouldn't have been all that much sooner, maybe a year before. Yeah.
So let's talk about gel polish. Bottles, would you change them?
Oh, for God's sake.
This is something, Rebecca, like I said at the start, that's something we've been discussing recently. Not that we're going to change the bottles.
Oh, as in would I have gone with something that wasn't black? No.
So black. What
the only thing that I would have gone that was the only different colour option I would have done, which is what you and I wanted to do in the first place, which was have every bottle the colour that it was on the inside. Yeah. That's what we wanted to do back then.
Colour match.
So what was that, 2022? Yeah, 2022. When we first started looking at this. We wanted to have a colour match the outside. And there's some brands have done that now and it looks really cool, but for some reason we decided to go against that because, it was going to be so difficult because the way that we've done it is so easy.
Yeah.
In no way. So
the thing is, we just wanted to be different. We wanted to stand out. Sometimes it's good to go against the grain.
Yeah. Why just do something that's like been done a million times before?
Yeah, and that's what we did.
You're just going to blend.
When we first launched our cuticle, we launched with 5 scents that were all yellow in colour and clear things, and we just copied everybody else. I mean, you kind of thought to yourself, whoa. Let's do it differently now.
Yeah, I think that's something I wish I could go back and say is like, don't look at what anyone else is doing. Make your own, be true to yourself.
I think now we are gung-ho with like just doing things that are wild.
Our own way. True to ourselves, 100%. Don't care what anyone else is doing.
Yeah. I think we push boundaries more than most other brands, I would say. With certain things, I think it's very controlled. Like, for instance, I remember when we launched Keep On Sucking.
Oh, yeah.
And I can remember like saying to people, yeah, let's just call it Keep On Sucking instead of Jolly Rancher because that was the kind of scent.
Rainbow.
And Ride the Rainbow, yeah, and it wasn't Skittles. And some of the staff that were working for us at the time were like, you cannot do that. And
we like to be a little risque.
Risque. Yeah.
But why? Why not have fun? Like, the great thing about the nail industry, especially when you look at the beauty industry as a whole, where the nail industry differs is it tends to have a lot more
personality.
It tends to have a lot more personality because of the very artistic element. So why not have a brand that actually demonstrates that?
Yeah. It's so true. Like maybe I'm taking this the wrong way, but let's look at lash base, for example. Now, lashes, I think, on face value can be quite kind of mundane, but a little bit boring. I'm sorry if you're a lash tech, and please don't take this the wrong way. But I think sometimes lash techs.
Well, what you're saying is it's hard to put personality into.
Yeah, be super creative. I understand that you can create beautiful fans and all that sort of stuff.
There is a lot that you can do, but it's not to the extent certainly with nails.
And I'm sure you can understand that, But like a lash base, that looks like a fun place to work.
It does. It looks fun and bright pink.
Yeah.
Colours, popping.
Yeah, fun people, they get behind their social media. Personality. Yeah. And I think that's where it comes into. I think, but when it comes to like nails, like you said, honey, like we're a massive creative bunch here, and the customers we sell to are ultra creative. So why not be creative?
Also, because we're so transparent, like if we were trying to be something that we're not, it would you'd fall down really quickly.
That's very,
like
very true.
Really, really quickly.
The cracks would be seen super quick.
So fast, yeah.
I think you guys probably know like our cracks, our flaws, our faults. Chris is grumpy. It's just a thing I get from my mom. Sorry.
It's great.
I'm trying to be better at it.
Yeah.
But I try to do everything else in my life slightly better to improve everyone else's. We were having this discussion last night when Rebecca was shouting at me. Anyway,
This has been really long. What time are we on here?
It doesn't matter because we're going to cut half it out.
Okay.
What was the other things I was talking about? Staff and staff roles. I think I put roles because I was hungry and I could fancy like a bacon roll. Anything else from Neil that you'd either change or wish you'd done it in a different way?
I don't know. Can you think of anything?
Yes, actually.
Okay.
Right, okay. Laura was dating this guy, right? Sorry, bag of bones, Laura. Dating this guy who worked for a marketing company down in Manchester. And they were like, you should get on.
Oh, yes.
And we decided to take them on for 3 months. Now, see, the first meeting, I remember explaining to them, like, if you're doing, like, Facebook ads, I target specific people. Females, because that's the majority of our demographic. 21 to 45, I'm sorry if you're older than that. But that's, again, just the majority of our demographic. And see, when you explain to them, this is all the things where we have to advertise to, and they were like, nah, you should open it up to more. I'm like, what's the point, mate? Because it's a professional brand. You want to target professional nail techs. And they were trying to give us results based on if they just advertised to anyone. So we took them on for 3 months, and the amount of crap that I had to get through. But
that was a big fat waste of time.
It was a big, huge...
We find that very commonly that outside
that's what I was trying
agencies
to get to.
Don't understand our business.
Anybody who comes along, they just don't get the business aspect of it. They don't understand
it's so hard sometimes. You're like, oh my God, you just don't get it.
Yeah. So put things like agencies or just anything out with, like the amount of times we get sales call from people and you're like, okay, so this is the demographic.
The amount of social media or marketing, it's like, we can do your marketing for you. How? Please tell me how that's going to work.
So let me tell you a story. We're really off topic, right? This company local to us sent us through a toy catapult.
Oh, yeah.
Something to do with our brand name. I forget because it wasn't that good. Anyway, the guy calls me up and he's like, did you get this? And I said, yes. And they said, what do you think of it? I said, well, you sent me a toy catapult. Do you think it's something that we could maybe help do for your brand with advertising? And I said, what is it that you don't like about our advertising and the way we do things? Oh, it's not that. So why do you think you can do it better? Because we're an agency and blah, blah, blah and everything else. And we're into like a big sales pitch. And I said to them, no, what you have to understand is, if you reach out to me and you say we can do that, what is it you can do better than what we're doing? He didn't have an answer.
I can tell you right now categorically, if you are an agency, you cannot work successfully or better than a professional beauty brand because you don't know anything about the treatments. You need to know how to do the treatments, the in-depth things about the products and how they work. It's not just about making things look pretty and just catapulting it to the masses.
Yeah.
It is very, very niche. And you need to know exactly how to speak to those people. And you need to know, it's just impossible. You can't do it.
It's different if you're
categorically telling you cannot do it.
If you're trying to sell a TV or a blender or something like that, you can do that as an agency because you're just appealing to everybody and hoping something sticks.
Yep.
When you're doing a very niche thing, like for instance, if we always talk about dental products and stuff like that here, an agency probably, then that's a bad comparison because everybody's got teeth.
If they're just trying to advertise a dentist, yeah, sure, of course they can because everyone's got teeth. But this is why all professional brands have in-house people doing it because they need to be part of the ecosystem. Yeah.
There you go.
They need to. You cannot do it. So please don't cold call beauty brands because we have no use for you.
Yeah.
Like literally, you cannot do the job.
Rack off. Anyway, we've well gone over on this one, honey. I didn't think this was going to be a good podcast, but we've made a terrible podcast.
We've been quite aggressive, I feel like. We've been really aggressive.
But this is one thing, right? So I'm going to take you back, and this is something that we've discussed recently. I think this maybe actually spurred the idea of doing this. Back when you had a salon, and even now, you tried to grow our social media following. Is there anything you would change now? And is there anything you would change back in the Alexa Lounge days, the salon days?
Yeah, I would go back and say it doesn't matter. Why? Who are you growing it for? Who are you growing it for? Don't get caught up of being obsessed with a brand sharing a picture. I was actually scrolling back on my phone the last few days. 4 pictures Saphira was wanting for a TikTok thing, right? And I kept coming across all these stunning images, stunning, might I say, for different brands of their products, right? So our old gel polish brand that we used. And I was like, that is a sexy picture. All these blues lined up and the lids on a little side bit. One for a tool company, all sorts of things. Why was I doing that? Why was I bothering? Huh? Why?
Because you wanted them to share.
I wanted them to share. I wanted them to care. Nobody cares. It's not going to benefit my business in any way. So I would definitely go back and tell myself that. Stop wasting your time.
Back in what Rebecca's getting at, that back in the Elixir Lounge days when we did Salon, we would go out our way to advertise for.
We were advertising for the brand.
For the brand.
That's what we were doing.
It's the gel polish brand.
And I'm not talking about just like, I'm not talking about taking a picture and like tagging the colours and the nails and so on. I'm talking about setting up like beautiful images of the products. Yeah. Like we worked for them. Don't bother.
Completely for free.
Who cares?
Wasting your time.
Absolutely literally found them the other day and I was like, that's a really nice picture.
And the funny thing is, and what Rebecca says is nobody cares. Like guys, if you tag us in a picture and it's a beautiful picture and you've put effort into it, we actually care. We will be like, wow, we'll talk about it in the office. Laura will show the pictures or whatever. You know?
Laura will show it and then we'll be like, oh, can we use that on the website?
Yeah. But I remember Rebecca was sending emails to Said Gel Brand back then to get a problem sorted. Have they ever replied to your email? So why the heck are they going to share your bloody picture?
I know.
If they can't do the basics like doing customer service, man.
Absolutely wild.
But again, this is funny. Like we see the funny side in things. Some people really take this to heart.
Some people really don't see the funny side.
Yeah, they like proper take it like it's the end of the world. It's like, again, sometimes customers like, message on a Saturday morning, they've got a small issue with a parcel. Then they message on a Saturday night. And then they call the hotline bling number, and then they send.
That's actually something I've really realised over the last week, right? Is that people have this like need from you to reply within an hour. And if you reply so late as 24 hours later, then you are just a terrible human being. Like, when did it become unacceptable to wait 24 hours to reply? Like, that's okay. 24 hours is, I think, completely reasonable.
It's 8 years reasonable.
We've been waiting 2 weeks for this guy with a house to get back to us.
I know. He doesn't know he's going to sell it to us yet.
He doesn't know, but he will. Yeah.
Well, if Laura can get a house, maybe we can.
Maybe.
Or maybe what we can do is just move all the staff. I said this right at the start. Like, everybody's upgrading our MacBooks recently. We need to change our cables. Everybody's getting houses. Everybody's grown up.
Yep.
Everybody's grown up. We are grown up. Well, we're growing down, but everybody's grown up in work. I feel like the proud father. Okay, honey. Well, that was quite a good podcast, I think. Maybe we'll see. I'm going to edit most of it out. What are we doing for the rest of the day?
I've got to answer my pants because we need to go and get this painting finished.
I really don't like painting.
We have to, Chris. The floor's going down and we've got to get this done.
God damn it.
Yeah, you don't like painting, you should have paid someone to do it.
That's a good point, actually. If I thought that I would have had to have done it, I would have done that. So, yeah, it's on me.
It really is.
It is. What can I tell the people at home interesting stuff about us? Nothing. Nothing's happening.
Great.
All right.
Should I get us out of
here? Honey, do you want to get us? Shut up. If we go back in time, I'll do it myself. There you go. If I go back in time, I'd tell somebody to go paint that. Pay somebody to go paint that.
There's a lot of things.
That quote wasn't that bad now when you think about it.
Nope.
Whereas the accountant, that's different. Anyway, honey, can you please get us out of here?
Okay, as always, guys, be sure to like and subscribe and be sure to share this on your stories to be in with a chance of winning a £50 voucher.
Tune in alone Sunday, all the tea getting spilled. Nail text, talking game, keeping it real, y'all gon' feel. From the signs to the drama, every secret they reveal. Stay sharp, stay tuned, man, you know it's the deal.